Thank you for coming and supporting the USC Glio Research Laboratory. We are hoping together with your help, we can advance and accelerate the treatment of this awful disease. And we hope that we will have your support tonight. I want to ask you to welcome Dr. Giannatta, the chair of Department of Neurosurgery, and he's our fearless leader in this battle. Dr. Giannatta.
And on behalf of the Department of Neurological Surgery and Tom and Florence's brain tumor lab, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for showing your support. It's, as I'll get to in a minute, it is so important that that we have established a partnership between people like you and that laboratory. I have been for decades characterizing glioblastoma not as a tumor, but as a disease. It's a disease of the brain, and I'm getting some head nodding from our scientists in the laboratory, which we've done, we, meaning collectively medicine, has done a heck of a job with cancer. Heck of a job. I mean, there are a lot of people that probably some of us even know in this room who've had cancer and are cured. So, like, what a jip, right? If you have the brain cancer, you can't be cured. But for the last few months, I've started to see some elements of positivity because I think we're onto something. And you're going to hear a little bit about that tonight, hopefully. And if you don't hear about it, then you corner our people in our lab and talk to them tonight. But things like, who knew there were tumor stem cells in the brain that can feed these tumors? And who knew that we could figure out some gimmick to get around the barrier that gets whatever it is we want to go directly to the glioblastoma into the brain? And those kinds of tricks and those kinds of advances are what's happening in our labs today. And with the ability to now manipulate the genomics and the genetics of some of these tumors and even these stem cells that make these tumors, I'm starting to get optimistic about this. We need a partnership. We need a partnership between the people that you're going to hear from tonight in the laboratory and us, who can help them with resources. And so I encourage you to think very seriously about this when you hear these stories tonight. And I will add my thanks to you again at the end of the night. We'll talk a little bit more about maybe what you can do. But let's hear from somebody who's on the front lines of the research for these kinds of tumors. And our next speaker is Axel Schoenthal. Axel.
Thanks, Heidi, for having us and me. I always appreciate it. I'm the basic science guy here, with together Florence Hoffman, who will be the next speaker. I think the beauty of what we are doing and what I really enjoy a lot is the teamwork. Because oftentimes in science, people, they have their groups and they work in their laboratories and they slave away and they publish their papers. We have a different approach to that. And Thomas Chen, he founded the glioma research group at USC about 10 or more years ago in order to bring together different people with different perspectives. And this is how things got really started. And over the years, we picked up nice momentum. The beauty is there are physicians, they see the patients, they have the ability to provide us the patient perspective, they provide patient samples and clinical samples, and they tell us, when you do a research, when you do an experiment, you have to look out for how will this be translatable to bring to the clinic eventually. So we always maintain the perspective, eventually what we do should end up with the patient and benefit the patient.
My name is Florence Hoffman, and I've been doing research with Tom Chen for many years. I don't want to even mention how many, and we've seen an amazing progress. I represent here the glioma research group, so there are others, Dr. Hyun Chow and Steve Swenson, who are part of the group and showing what we can do. The most important thing is I'm here just to tell you, to thank you for the support you've given in the past. You've given, the support you've given us in the past. And it's with your support, financial and other means, psychological, that we can continue on in this field, as we found out was difficult, but there is hope.
I've spent my entire career, I mean, we all talk about how 4 years of college, 4 years of med school, multiple years of research, residency training, all so I could cure things, so I could fix things. But you don't fix glioblastoma with surgery. You do a good job, you don't hurt them, but that's why I'm in the lab every moment before a surgery, between cases, after surgery, during my time off, with a really dedicated group of people in the lab, students who want to do what I do, collaborators who you're going to see here, because I'm the type of person that if I fail, I don't expect to fail, but if I fail, at least I want to know I did everything I could for that patient, and that means doing research, and at least take away that moment where I see the hope dreaming away from their face, because I can tell them, look, we just found 80 new genes that when we knock them down, the tumor stops growing. Or Dr. Chen has a drug that all you have to do is inhale it, and the tumor actually doesn't come back. The survival is way longer. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a cure. You see that person no longer have that hope kind of drain away from their face. And I think doing everything we can, that's what Heidi, Shireen, and John are doing with us here. And that's what our collaborators that you're going to see here are doing, and that's what all of you are doing by helping us. So I want to thank you for helping us do what we do. I want to introduce Dr. Chen as our next speaker. He's the head of the glioma research group, so many of the researchers you're seeing here, he's been lead author of a lot of major papers, including some showing new therapies that are showing survival. And he's done something that I don't think he'll really talk about, is he's taken what he's seen in lab, in mice, in the dish, and moved it to the clinical trial, which, for the institution and for the government to let you start trying things on humans means it has to be really successful. And then he's shown it to be successful in the lab, so I'll let him talk.
Thanks, Frank. I again want to echo the fact that we're here today because of Heidi, Shireen, and John. But there was a very famous researcher. His name is Judah Folkman, and Judah Folkman said that we have been able to cure cancer in mice, but obviously we have not been able to cure cancer in human patients. And so the stuff that we're doing in the laboratory, basically, we're taking the knowledge and the experiments that we've done in the laboratory, and we're translating that into human patients. The whole process of helping patients basically starts in the lab. We vet out the compound, make sure that it's successful, and then we have to go through this whole very elaborate process in order to get a compound into a patient. And it's extremely expensive. That's why drugs companies charge so much for their products. But in our case, we have a very targeted selection of patients. We have patients that we know can benefit from our therapies, and our goal is to make this into a reality for these people. So I want to thank you again for being here, and again I want to thank Heidi, Shireen, and John for hosting it. Thank you very much.
Everything we do with regard to this cause is to help improve the chances of finding a cure, and that's all we can do. And I want to thank the USC team for being there for him and our family. We never, even though At times it felt a little scary, and there were moments where we were feeling a little hopeless. The USC team never gave up on us, and we really, truly appreciated that. I really mean that. Thank you. So if you can, please give all that you can, because this is for a really great cause.
Okay, thank you all very much for being here. And special thanks I want to say to Dr. Antonelli for making it very personal and bringing it back to regular people and what they go through. And it was just very touching. Thank you. That was very nice. Dr. Gianetta, thank you very much for being here. Dr. Chen, Dr. Hoffman, Dr. Schoenthal, Dr. Antonelli, and thank you, everybody, for being here and supporting us. And by the way, anybody who donates $10,000 tonight, I will match this. Wow.
Thanks again. Thanks to Heidi and John and Shireen for hosting us tonight. It's just a great event, and I can't emphasize my thanks to them enough. And to you, thanks for coming, and let's have fun the rest of the evening. Thank you.